Okay, let's see if this moves around right. I should probably pay more attention to that. And I'm still dropping frames. Why? No, I'm not. Oh, hang on. I had to refresh my stream. That would kind of help. Okay, let's test this now. Moving this around a little bit. Yes! Okay, it looks like it's actually working now. Sweet. Anyway, I completely lost my train of thought. Stefano doing something interesting here. Let's actually go back about a minute. And let's actually go ahead and do some stuff so I can see if my freaking encoding frames just dies again. So Stefano, the attack is off. He realizes that all of his opponents are down, or forces are down here, and he can see that they're pulling back. Well, maybe. All those die. And he might be able to see his opponents pulling back. But what he knows is that his opponent is not right here, is not in his base, so we see him making more units. And 8 Banelings. These are going to become key in just a little bit here. So Stefano starts rallying Zerglings across the map. And now notice again, he has this watchtower, so he knows there aren't any units in here, but he has no idea if his opponent has the watchtower here. He doesn't try and get it because that would arouse suspicion, so instead he starts making his Zerglings take the long way around to try and do this attack. Yeah, go Zerglings, go! Those would have actually been a vision of this and might given it away, but we'll forgive that because he's Stefano. And no frames dropped. Oh yeah. Waddle Banelings, waddle. I wish I could make them all dance right now, but that is not to be. Now while he's doing this attack, he's getting ready for a counterattack. He's putting down more spore crawlers. He's getting more saturation. He's getting mutalisks. He's getting all these. He's preparing himself, expanding once again because he realizes this attack will probably not kill his opponent. And the Banelings waddle on over, zoom this, or speed this up for just a little bit. And the Hellions going and scouting around right here. Now, pure chance they happen up here, and we see that Stefano immediately brings his Mutalisks. Hey, I don't want him to find out about this attack. And suddenly, the attack begins. And a battlecruiser being built for reasons I don't even know. So Stefano sees this, starts killing them off. The Mutalisks losing a Baneling right there, but it's not that big of a deal. So, back to the basic decision making, we're going to see that these are up, and Stefano runs in. Now, if he's going to bust this down with his Banelings, why is he coming in with the Zerglings? It's a simple thing. If you're going to Baneling bust an opponent, put the Banelings in the back and let them work their way up, so that way you don't lose all of them to siege tanks or something like that. And hey, look at that! That was a Seeker missile, but you don't see that very often. Okay, that busts, and these Zerglings are in. Now again, he's going to go for the guaranteed damage. Stefano realizes 2 things here. First of all, if you're trying to do a Ling run by, doing it where your opponent has this many Hellions and Banshees is probably not the best idea. So he goes ahead and runs them up into the main base. And the Mutalisks come in as well, just kind of lend him some support and do some damage here. He pulls back because he knows that there is a point defense drone, but he did a lot of damage with those Mutalisks. Once this attack's over, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the workers. I think it's the last of them he kills. Income, he's got double his opponent again. Big surprise. That's just Stefano for you. And we see that he's actually getting, of all things, missile attack. Missile attack, there we go. And he has gotten a Hydralisk Den in this time. 16 Hydralisks on the way. Not something you'd usually see. Okay, going back, stressing the point about how if you have units, make use of them. Even though this is only 1 Hellion, Stefano just killed it because that's 1 less Hellion that you're going to have to face later on. And even 1 Blue Flame Hellion in your base can be scary. Seeing that there's still more air units, more Spore Crawlers going down, and another push coming because this Sky Terran that we've got going on here is freaking scary. Mutalisks gonna come in here, do what they can. Vikings with that god-awful range is just well, awesome range, I just hate it. It's taking out everything. And Stefano following this because, again, he sees the forces because he has this watchtower. Able to react a lot better. And Hydralisks. Not going to do anything here. Realizing there's going to be something, he goes on ahead and he's going to attack someplace that's a bit more weak. Point defense drones, kind of good. The Vikings working on just picking off Mutalisks in that flock because they are kind of important. And he moves out with his Hydralisks to do a lot of... Oh my god. I did not see that the first time through. Okay, guys. If you have Mutalisks, don't let them clump up if your opponent has Seeker Missile. It hurts. So now we see that these are mostly out of energy. They can do a couple of defense turrets here. We see this battlecruiser go down. And we see that, despite having this big, awesome, scary force, there's not much that your opponent can do. You're prepared properly. You got some nice spore crawlers down. You have stuff that shoots up. All good things to have. Ravens are out of energy. And now we're seeing Hydralisks versus Raven, Banshee, Viking, Thor, Hellion. I'm forgetting something in there, I think. And I mean, from here, things are going to kind of just descend into bloodshed, and I'm not going to cover the rest of the game. I suggest if you want to see this, Google Stefano replay pack, because he releases them often, and they are pretty freaking awesome. That's where I got this replay from. It's one of those in there. Hydralisks doing some poking because, hey, I've got Hydralisks. Let's make them do something like Scout, because that's useful. Hellion's going to go around poke here, and in the meantime, this giant mass of Hydralisks is starting to gather for something. Thinking, oh, there's a base here. Wait, there's not. His opponent hasn't expanded because mules are pretty good. I mean, looking at the income here, we see that Stefano is still just outperforming his opponent. Hellions! Oh no, they're in my base. Zergling's getting a lucky surround on this one. But now let's take a look at what Stefano does with these, or against these two Hellions with these drones. Your instinct is to run away, but no! Stefano reaches in there and forces the Hellions back. The Zerglings are able to finish them off, and just like that, he only lost 2 drones, maybe 3? Okay, I actually haven't been keeping count on here, so I can't tell. But he lost such a few number of drones from that, despite 3 Blue Flame Hellions being right there at his base. Now, Breach over here, seeing Hydralisks. Oh, hey, what's good against Hydralisks? Siege tanks, getting those. And Stefano just kind of getting together an army, getting ready to attack again, because he knows that he can't push into this giant choke right here with those Seeker missiles. And Infestors, more upgrades, because upgrades are a very good unit, as Jack likes to say, and 10 Infestors, because Infestors are kind of good as well. Corruptors. Now, going back to what I said in the beginning and asking why people do things, why is he getting Corruptors? We should already have a pretty good answer. We know that he likes Corruptors, or Broodlords. We saw this double Spire action going on right here. So chances are pretty good he's going to want to change into Broodlords. Also, Corruptors, very, very meaty unit. The only Zerg unit that starts off with more than 1 base armor. Fun little fact right there. And he's just gathering more and more and more and more. And a little bit of a Hellion run by, but he takes care of it with very few losses, if any. I think he lost a Zergling there. Maybe a couple more than that. And he's teching behind this, because attacking is a good time to go ahead and cover your weakness of teching. And the Zerglings down here, very mobile, so they can go down here and then rejoin the main force up here as needed. And just like that, instead we see a Zergling run by. Now, again, this goes back to what I said earlier about taking your opponent's APM. Think of APM like a resource. Your goal is to spend it as efficiently as possible. Now, by spending your own APM, you'll cause your opponent to spend theirs to go ahead and counter it. So, by moving a bunch of Zerglings into a Terran base, you used, like, 1 action. Now, all of a sudden, your Terran buddy over here has to pull SCVs, probably repair things, get units down there, raise supply depots, and in the meantime, he's going to have to deal with this attack over here while maintaining his production. Now, for players like these, it's a lot easier than it is for somebody like me, for somebody like any of you 5 wonderful viewers out there. But, when you're in the lower leagues, when you're only having like 40 APM, 60 APM, something like that, Every little action counts. So by doing this and causing your opponent to react, either he's not going to react and you're going to do a ton of damage, or he is going to react and this defense up here is going to be weaker for it. Okay, siege tank's kind of good, fungal's going down, and for the most part these infestors just kind of die. Infested Terran's coming down, but surprising amount of damage done here. Most of the siege tank's gone, a lot of the units being forced to pull back, and in the meantime these hydralisks are up here. Now, going back to talking about APM, you ran your Zerglings in, let's say, and your opponent had to deal with them, so he had to spend some APM microing the Hellions and stuff, and still the siege tank's dead. I actually can't click on it. This siege tank is not going to die. Both these Hellions are going to die, just from that little small Zergling run by. And now let's see what Stefano does with these 5 Hydralisks, these 5 battered Hydralisks. Not good against the Planetary Fortress, and yet abusing that range right there. He realizes that I can get where it can't attack, and he starts picking off workers. A lot of people would say you can't do much with 5 Hydralisks, and yet he just got probably a good bunch of workers. And then, what is that? He doesn't try and retreat them when it's futile. He does a bit more guaranteed damage. Takes out that Hellion, he takes out that Vespane or the refinery that was on that geyser right there. Now, Hydralisks in a TVZ, the big reason they're not built is because of siege tanks. Stefano built them because there were no siege tanks, and even after the siege tanks were on the field, they were still fairly useful. Now, guys, from here the game basically descends into madness and bloodshed. Stefano overwhelms his opponent because it is a 1-base Terran against a 1, 2, 3, soon to be 4 base Zerg, who has teched up to Broodlord successfully. And I just want to kind of reiterate some of the points that I made here. You have to realize that units are expendable, and as a Zerg player, sacrificing units to buy time is completely acceptable, just like we saw with those Zerglings and the Mutalisks down here. You have to realize that vision is key. We see Stefano with his creep spread. I mean, he's not going to attack down here, most likely. He might defend, but maybe not all the way down here, probably up here where the spore crawlers are. But yet this vision allows him to see, and all it did was cost him some energy and some APM. And, yeah, I really don't have that big of a thrilling conclusion to this, guys. I want to thank you 5 viewers for coming out here. You guys know who you are, and I can't actually look at chat right here. This is going to be a weekly thing. For those of you who don't know, I also do a weekly coaching session, which I just started for the first time yesterday. Ha! And I also do SCV Rush's Bronze, Silver, and Gold tournaments. I'm one of the casters for that. Check that out. That's scvrush.com. And, yeah, I think all you guys are following me on Twitter. If not, bottom right-hand corner, @Bear4D, hit me up on there, because that is where I post all the updates, all my schedules, and everything like that. And, stay tuned. There's going to be an accompanying blog post on this in the next day or two on SCV Rush, talking more about the things that I did here, extrapolating a little bit, and just stressing the importance of it all. Until I see you guys next time, be that this week or this time next week at my coaching session on Wednesdays or Mondays during the Bronze, Silver, Gold, I wish you guys all good games, have some fun, and I hope you all have good luck and good night.